putting a bow on the 2025 NFL Scouting Combine. South Carolina freakish athletic safety Nick Emmanwori tested out of this world. Looked like an alien out there. Did he do enough to leapfrog Malaki Starks at safety one? Let's talk about it coming up next.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast, your daily podcast covering your favorite draft prospects, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your boy, Damian Parson. I'm an offensive draft analyst over with Bleacher Report, and thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shout out for being our everydayers. We're putting the bow on the 2025 NFL Scouting Combine. We're going to recap the biggest winners. We're going to try to talk more the defensive side, get a little bit into the O-line in the second topic. And then I'm going to talk about who I'm excited to study either for the first time or going back to the tape based off of how these guys test. So let's get into it, guys. The freakish, just alien athletic testing profile that we saw at the 2025 NFL Scouting Combine came from South Carolina safety Nick Emmanwori, man. 6'3", 220, 4.38 40-yard dash time, 43-inch vert, 11.6 in the broad. You want to talk about showcasing everything I have to offer. And I said it on Friday's show. We talked about it a little bit yesterday when we did the mock draft. Go check that out. Check that out over at bleacherreport.com. Did a 3-round mock for you, post-combine mock. Go check it out. But me and Keith talked about Nick Emmanwori, and we're going to get into a bigger, deeper discussion as we get, a little bit close to the draft, really do a scouting profile for him where you get to hear both of our thoughts. But today, Nick Emmanwori, I said it on Friday, previewing the DB workouts. I said he had a chance to make it a conversation for those teams that value RAS score, the relative athletic score. And if you're truly an everydayer, if you're here everydayer and you've been here since last year, you knew that you checked out, right? Kentley Platty, aka Math Bomb, the guy who does the relative athletic scores every draft cycle, every combine cycle, all of it. Shout out to him. He was on the pod last year. Awesome dude. That's my guy. Love him to death. Does great work. And we talked about the RAS score, right? And you think about teams like the Indianapolis Colts who are big on the RAS score. And for them, you just think about the aspect of they do have a need at safety. Could they decide to follow their own trends and say, you know what? I'd rather go ahead and select, Nick Emmanwori because of the fact I know that he is going to I know he fits our mold. Nick Emmanwori's relative athletic score is a 10 at safety, strong safety, green all over the board as an elite from size, right, height and weight to explosive grades, elite from a vertical and broad to composite speed grade, elite, 40, the 20-yard split, the 10-yard split, all of it, right, elite. So when you think about Malaki Starks, he came in at 6'1" or so, 197. He ran a 4.5. Okay. He didn't have the greatest short shuttle or 3-cone. He jumped poor in the vertical. Two different style guys because we know that the chess pieces on offense in the NFL is typically tight ends, the Travis Kelce's, the George Kittles, the Brock Bowers, Sam Laporta's, the Rob Gronkowski's, those guys, because I can put those guys in motion to dictate what coverage and show me what coverage you're trying to run pre-snap. So now I'm Pat Mahomes. Now Brock Purdy knows, okay, it's man. Say less. This is what we need, right? And I want to give them the answers to the test. It's not cheating, studying, okay? I want to give them the answers to the test. And I think that's where you need a guy that can be physical enough, size matches up, athletic profile matches up to defend those guys. It's not a lot of safeties that look like Nick Emmanwori, that test like Nick Emmanwori out of South Carolina. There are not many. He's a rare commodity, a rare product, and he is the biggest winner on the defensive side of the ball, in my opinion, because he went from a early day 2, mid day 2 selection for a lot of people to now he's probably a first round lock and potential top 15 pick. Right in our mock draft over at Bleacher Report. Go check that out. 3-round mock post combine mock draft. Believe we have him falling to 13 to the Miami Dolphins with Javon Holland heading into free agency, so forth and so on. So again, Malaki Starks, the ball production, he's a different style guy where, you look at Nicky Manwori's snap, look at snap production, right? And snap counts. 400 this past season, 2024, 414 snaps in the box, 193 snaps at free safety, 146 snaps at slot/nickel defender. And when you have a guy that can be a +1 in the run game, he can play out of the nickel, drop off into zones. A lot of people mentioned the Cam Chancellor. I talked about Obi Melanfonwu and what people hoped I think Nicky Manwori is going to turn into what we hoped Obi Melanfonwu would be. And I think that puts him over Malaki Starks in the sense, because he can give you more bang for your buck, where I look at Malaki, I don't know how much nickel he's going to play in the league. I think he's better off at the top of the defense where his speed, range, sideline to sideline, he can make the wrong things right. And I think that's what you look for in that specific situation. And I think Nicky Manwori to come in and potentially jump the top safety for a lot of people. Yeah, that's not easy, man. And to do that just off of athletic testing, we see that, hey, you're bigger, you're stronger, you're faster, you're more explosive. Yes, somebody is going to love what he's going to bring to the table. And they're going to say, listen, I want that guy. But another guy that really helped himself, Maxwell Hairston out of Kentucky, ran a 4.28. He was really smooth on the field drills. To me, he looks like a corner. I think they compared him to Denzel Ward. And I think he's got a shot to be a first-round pick, because if you watch his tape, you see that speed downhill, that trigger downhill, the ball skills to take the ball away. Now, is he the biggest corner? No. So he's going to be a little bit on the slimmer side, leaner side, but he still gives you enough in coverage, especially from a physicality standpoint. He will get hands on. He will try to press and reroute when he needs to. But again, with this speed, this coverage ability, the ball skills, this is the type of guy that I can see sneaking into the back end of the first round and helping some of these teams out that need cornerback help. The Baltimore Ravens potentially losing Brandon Stevens, who had an awful season in 2024. Nate Wiggins feel like he was rarely targeted, and he was a rookie. Maybe you double down and add another rookie to this secondary. Now you got two explosive guys that can live on the outside, put Marlon Humphrey into the nickel, and now you're cooking with gas. You know what I mean? Because, hey, listen, I know it's still a little cold around these parts, but it's about to be spring, baby. When spring comes, and down here in the South, we like to cook that grill up. So I'm just saying, you be cooking with some gas. Another cornerback, listen, Darian Porter, 6'3", 195, 33 and 1/8 on the arm. 4.3 in the 40, 1.49, 10-yard split, 36.5-inch vert, a 10.11 broad, a 6.71 3-cone, the 4.04 short shuttle. This is a guy, again, I'm not saying he's going to be a round one pick, but I think he's going to be high second round. You don't go out here and measure in the way he did and test the way he did and not end up being a high day 2 pick. Teams need cornerback help. I'm telling you now, guys, teams need cornerback help. And when you can go out here, a lot of the talk, he kept talking about safeties, linebackers, corners. Like, it was so much negativity spoken over this class in so many different spots, to the point that once we got the 40 times and the verticals, now people are like, oh, man, this class, like, I got to have one of these corners. I need one of these receivers. And on day 2, there should be a runner. Last time I checked, y'all, like, everybody was saying that the receiver class sucked until they ran fast 40s and jump high. Like, I'm telling you now, guys, let's get out of the echo chamber. Let's get away from groupthink and let's tap into the film. Darian Porter, another guy that really helped himself, was a big winner on the defensive side of the ball. I'm getting ready to close this thing out, but you want to talk about somebody that, James Pierce Jr., as an edge rusher, what he was able to do with the 40-yard dash and the field drills, he looked good and fluid and explosive, dynamic, all of that good stuff. But also linebacker, man, we talked about it. Jahad Campbell coming in, I think he for some people, he's jumped up to LB1 or solidified himself as LB1, 6'3", 235, 32.5-inch arms. 4.52, 153, 10-yard split, a 10.7 broad. He's fluid. He's athletic. He's physical. He gets downhill. He could drop off in coverage. He could rush and he could blitz through the A gaps. He could rush off the edge. He can wear every hat in the box that you want from a linebacker / edge pass sub package rusher, similar to Jalen Walker, right? Similar to a Baron Browning and all those different type of guys. I think this is becoming the archetype for off-ball backers, guys. So you're talking about biggest winners on the defensive side of the ball, in that secondary and second level, man. I absolutely think it was those guys: Nicky Emmanwori, Jihad Campbell, Darian Porter, Maxwell Harrison. Again, Malaki Starks helped himself as well, but Nicky Emmanwori was the biggest winner of them all. But guys, coming up next, we're going to keep this biggest winner train going. All right, we're going to look at the offensive line and some other positions. We're going to talk about that coming up next. You've probably heard of Chewy. They really do have everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy. Whether you're shopping for food, treats, or even pet health care, Chewy makes it fast, easy, and affordable. With over 100,000 products from all your favorite brands, Chewy has everything your pet needs, from food, treats, to toys, beds, and grooming. And it's not just for dogs and cats. They've got supplies for birds, fish, reptiles, and small pets too. Guys, they have everything you're looking for. Auto ship is a game changer. You can set up automatic deliveries for food, treats, and any other essentials so you never run out. You can easily change or cancel it at any time. Chewy has everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy. Right now, you can save $20 off your first order and get free shipping by going to chewy.com or clicking the link in the description. Save $20 on your first order with free shipping by clicking the link in the description. Minimum purchase required. New customers only. Terms and conditions apply. See site for complete details. Offensive linemen that were the biggest winners at the 2025 NFL Scouting Combine. Guys, I have to think about Armand Membo out of Missouri, the tackle, right? He played right tackle, came in at 6'4", 332 pounds, 33.5 inches on the arm, 9 3/4 on the hand, and he ran a blazing 4.91 at 332 pounds, a 1.74 10-yard split. He had a 34-inch vert, a 9.7 broad jump. For a little bit of context, there was a receiver that actually had, I think, the lowest or the worst broad jump for the receivers was a 9.9, right? He has well over 200 pounds on the guy. Like, or close to 200 pounds on the guy, well over 130, 40 pounds on the guy, right? I think Kyle Manungai, who was like 215, 211, somewhere there, 211, 215, the 5'9" running back from Rutgers, he had a 9.9 broad, if I remember correctly. So, yes, that's just to kind of put some context around big 332-pound Armand Membo and what he was able to do. He also put up 31 reps on the bench press of 225 with 33.5-inch arms. When you have long arms, bench pressing is not easy, especially throwing up that type of weight that many times. And I think when you watch the tape of Membo, you see the athleticism, you see the lateral agility, you see all of the things that you want for a cornerstone tackle. He is physical. You're talking about zone run game and him getting on his high horse, going if he's uncovered, right, and he has to go pick off that outside backer who's in the overhang, that nickel corner, that safety, whatever, like get out in space and be a lead blocker. He moves efficiently. He moves quick. I think he made himself a lot of money to the point where we're starting to see him in mock drafts start to climb up. Almost, not almost, but inside the top 5. I think Dane Brugler's mock, he had him in the top 5 of his mock draft recently, post-combine. I think he helped himself a whole lot. He looked out. He just looked good, man. He looked outstanding. Another guy that I think did a pretty solid job coming in, just physically, was Kelvin Banks Jr., 6'5", 315, 33.5-inch on the arms. He didn't do the bench press. He ran a 5.16, 179, 10-yard split and everything, but he looked good in terms of movement ability, the quickness in his vertical sets. He did a good job, man. I really appreciate it when I saw from him with the on-field workouts. Jarrett Wilson out of Georgia, guys, listen, 6'3", 310, 32 3/8 on the arm. He ran a 4.84 40-yard dash, a 172 10-yard split. 4, 5, 6 in the 20-yard shuttle. His athleticism score ranked first amongst the centers with a 98. Okay. Yeah, this young man is good. His tape is good, right? His tape is pretty good, but you saw the athleticism on tape overall. But for him to go out there and blaze that 40 like that, man, like that's the type of stuff you love to see. I got to shout out one of my guys. I talked about him on this pod early in the summer, man, and he was a riser for me. And I think he helped himself a decent amount. Was Minnesota's tackle, Ariante Ursery, 6'6", 331, 33 1/8 on the arm, almost a 5 flat in the 40, 175 10-yard split, 29.5-inch vert, 9.3 in the broad, put up 25 reps on the bench press, but he also looked good on the field drills, be able to move laterally, things like that. Because and you see his body type, he is kind of muscle bound. He got a little bit more muscle mass to his frame, so there is a little bit of rigidness, but not a ton, in my opinion. I think Daniel Jeremiah said he felt he was more rigid on film than he looked on the field during the field workouts. Another guy that kind of popped a little bit for me was Joshua Gray, the guard out of Oregon State, 6'5", 299. I'm pretty sure he plays north of 300, the actual playing weight. 31 3/8 on the arm, 504, 40-yard dash, 173, 10-yard split, one of the faster ones, I believe, for the offensive line. 31-inch vert, 8 in the broad. So like you see the ability to move, and that's what those field drills showcase, right? And I'm gonna tell you this, guys, real quick before I transition to a different position on offense. Will Campbell, 6'6", 319, okay, 498, 40-yard dash, 176, 10-yard split, 32-inch vert, a 9.5 in the broad. He came in with 32 5/8 on the arm. And the field drills, he was smooth. He was quick. He looked explosive. He looked spry. The lateral drills, he did good. I hate that field because you saw him slip, and that could have been a torn ACL, man. That could have been a torn ACL. I'm tired of these turf with the beads and stuff. I walked on those type of turfs. It's not a comfortable feeling at all, guys. Bring back real grass. Bring back real grass to football. Let's make football great again with real grass. But nonetheless, let's keep talking about Will Campbell. I'm drafting him to be an offensive lineman. If I'm good at tackle, he's gonna play guard, right? Just that. If I am a team that is solidified at tackle, I'm drafting him to play guard, right? Because he's an outstanding run blocker. He's super physical, uber. In terms of the strength, his play strength is outstanding. But if I'm a team that needs a tackle, I don't mind drafting him to play tackle. I get it, 32 5/8. Yeah, I understand it. I hear it. I get it, right? But at the same time, I'm of the ilk that I'm going to allow you to fail before I do anything. He had a 77 3/8 on the wingspan. Yeah, 77 3/8 wingspan. I think he's going to play tackle, to be completely honest. I would be shocked if he doesn't. And I know that, that's just a very not common take because everybody's so gung-ho about kicking him inside. But I'm letting them fail that tackle, man. You know what I mean? I think the Bears is a really good spot because you have Darnell Wright. They got Braxton Jones who will be back. For humor me for a second. If they were to take a Will Campbell, you let him go up against Montez Sweat and who's a long arm, explosive pass rusher. If he doesn't struggle against your best, that means he's probably going to be fine against the rest. Okay. But if he struggles, you can still put him at guard, let Braxton Jones, Darnell Wright do their thing, and you improve the interior protection of Caleb Williams. Nonetheless, I am 100% taking him and playing him at tackle. That's just what I'm doing. Point blank period. That's just what I'm doing. Real quick, let's go to the tight ends real quick, guys, because wasn't able to talk about them on after Friday's workout. And I think the tight ends, they didn't test the way that you kind of wanted to see for the most part. Terrence Ferguson, 4'6", Joshua Simmons, a guy with 4'6", Thomas Fadone, 4'7", Harold Fannin, 4'7", and it just keeps trickling down close to the 4.8 and everything. I would say this. I think the tight end class did good enough. I think these guys came in, they measured in well, they looked the part, especially at tackle. And I think I'm looking at Thomas Fidone as a guy that you need to get eyes on, right? 6'5", 243, 34-inch arms. He had a 4.7 flat 40, 1.57 10-yard split, 35.5-inch vert, a broad jump of 10.6. Okay, he knows how to block. He can play in line. I think when you look at what he brings to the table, day 3, this is a guy I think he helped himself a good bit. Terrence Ferguson helped himself for a lot of people as well. 6'5", 247, 32 and 7/8 on the arm, 4.63, 40-yard dash, a 1.55 10-yard split, but he was explosive. 39-inch vert, a 10.2 broad. The broad wasn't greatest, but the vert was definitely there, and he ran fast. I just think, especially when you had the top 3 guys out, 2 of them with injury. Tyler Warren said, "I'm gonna rest on my laurels. Come see me in Penn State." I think these tight ends, like they did good enough to help themselves, especially those kind of like late day, like early day 3 guys that could potentially be day 2. But let's talk about, let's close this thing out. Coming up next, guys, I'm going to talk about who I'm excited to study off of the 2025 NFL Scouting Combine. Coming up next. Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shout out for being our everydayers, guys, players and prospects, guys that I'm excited to see on tape to either confirm, reaffirm, or just get a first look at them. And I'm gonna start with running back out of Virginia Tech, Bashul Tootin. I've seen him. I've watched him in glimpses. I watched a little bit of him when I watched some defenders and stuff like that, and in the ACC. And his speed is legit. 4.32 in the 40. He comes from like that. I talked about it on Monday's show. I believe it was Monday. Yeah, Monday's show. He comes at first of all, 5'9", 206. He comes from a very explosive, athletically gifted family, right? A 1.49 10-yard split, 40.5-inch vert, 10.10 on the broad. Like, this young man is a dynamic, explosive player. And I'm looking forward to really diving deep into the film and seeing, okay, where do you line up? Where do you fall within this running back class, right? Shamir Dike out of Florida, transfer from Wisconsin, wide receiver, 6'1", 196, 32 and 1/8 on the arm. He ran a 4.34 in the 40, a 1.51 10-yard split, 38.5-inch vert, 10.8 in the broad. He ran a 6.82 in the 3-cone and the 4.27 in the short shuttle. Listen, I'm telling you, like, to see that number, right? He was like, I think with the 3-cone, he was 5th fastest 3-cone, right? Behind Daniel Jackson, Jacoby George, Jalen Lane, Tez Johnson. And then his short shuttle, I believe his short shuttle, he was closer to the bottom at 4.27, behind the likes of Jack Besh, Arian Smith, Andrew Armstrong, and a lot of the other guys at the top. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into Shamir Dike's film. Another receiver I'm looking forward to watching, Isaac Tesla, Teslaa, out of Arkansas, big body guy. He tested. I wasn't super impressed with him at the Senior Bowl. He was okay. 6'4", 215. He kind of reminds me of Alec Pierce, to be completely honest. 4.43 in the 40, 1.51 10-yard split, 39.5-inch vert, a 10.9 in the broad, a 6.85 3-cone, 4.05 20-yard shuttle, which is the best. I believe he had the best. At 6'4", 215, he had the best 20-yard shuttle time at 4.05 seconds. But then you also have 17 bench press reps as well. Big, tall guy, can absolutely, open that stride, and he can run. I think he helped himself. And he's, like I said, for guys like Isaac Tesla, what you want to do is come to the combine, compete, and ball. And when you do that, what happens? You force people to go watch. Because guys, let's be honest here. There's a lot of people that didn't watch him yet, that have never seen his tape. Their first experience of him was at the Senior Bowl. I'm sorry. So yes, like that. Those are the things you have to think about, right? Like, what does the tape say now? Does the tape match your speed? Does the tape match your physical profile? Do you play big? Do you play strong? Things of that nature. Safety out of Nevada, Keaton Crawford, 4.41, 41.5-inch vert, 10.8 broad, 18 reps on the bench press. He ran a short shuttle, a 20-yard shuttle in 4.03 seconds. Explosive young man, can play nickel as well as safety, play off ball, does a lot of different things. I think, definitely can't wait to really dive into his tape. I'm actually going to be doing, helping out over at BR and working on his scouting report in the coming weeks as well. Isaiah Nair, you're talking about a guy who measured in and tested well. Isaiah Nair, wide receiver out of Nebraska, 6'4", 218, 34 3/8 on the arm, 9.5-inch hands, 4.4 flat, 40-yard dash, 1.51 10-yard split, 38-inch vert, and 11.1 in the broad. He came in second in the athleticism score for the 2025 Combine wide receiver rankings. This young man, listen, I think there may be some untapped potential. I think the right coaching, you can have yourself a potential traditional, just big body X receiver to put inside your offense and to work within your offense, man. I can't wait to dive into his tape overall. And then, of course, you just kind of look at just the quarterback class, man. Going back to the tape for me, watching Jackson Dart, okay, and here to get back in the tape, watching Max Brosmer for this year, looking forward to that. Rewatching Riley Leonard, right, and just kind of like, again, he was one of my winners from the QBs on day 3 of the Combine on Saturday. Like, what can we extrapolate from this 2024 film passing wise and say this will work in the league? You got to look at those things and got like things like that. This is a lot of guys, man. Can't wait to get back into Quinshon Judkins tape and see what I see there. I love Dylan Sampson. Okay, he didn't run, but I love Dylan Sampson. A guy, one last name to think about. At the running back spot, at least. Montrell Johnson from Florida, 5'11", 212. He ran a 4.41. I did not expect that, to be honest. So it's a litany of guys that I'm looking forward to watching, and I'm excited to go back to the tape and study offense, defense, D-line, whatever. Like, listen, it's draft season, baby. So tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that you need to tap into the best draft podcast with in-depth analysis, which is a Locked On NFL Draft podcast. But guys, that's the show. Thank you, all right, for tapping in with your boy each and every day and being our everydayers. Go subscribe and follow for free on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts, to get the latest episode as soon as it is available. And come and join the conversation again tomorrow on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.